Welcome to our exploration of the smartphone revolution and its profound impact on our lives. Let me know if you've ever felt like this. This blasted smartphone, pest of productivity, tenfold plague of beeps and buzzing, soulless gadget with unquenchable power hunger, conjuring of digital tricks, surveillance bracelet, money pit, inescapable tether to work, dictator, distractor, foe. Yet it is also my untiring personal assistant, my irreplaceable travel companion, and my lightning fast connection of friends and family. VR screen, gaming device, ballast for daily life, my intelligent friend, my alert wingman, and my ever ready collaborator. This blessed smartphone. My phone is a window into the worthless and the worthy, the artificial and the authentic. Some days I feel as if my phone is a digital vampire sucking away my time and my life. Other days I feel like a cybernetic centaur. He uses a lot of Harry Potter versions in here, by the way. Part human, part digital, as my phone and I blend seamlessly into a complex tandem of rhythms and routines. So, as many of you know, 2007, Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone to us, a device that would change the world dramatically. With its 3.5-inch high res screen resolution, now they're so much bigger than that. It's a revolutionary multi touch technology. It brought us closer to our computing devices more than ever before. And since then, smartphones have become an integral part of our daily existence. We check them every 4.3 minutes of our waking lives. And again, this book was written in 2017. So I feel like that number is a lot less than 4.3 minutes. I think it's probably like maybe every minute at this point. You know, they wake us up, they entertain us, they capture our memories and guide us through unfamiliar streets. But this digital magic comes at a price. Our phones are also sources of constant distraction, blurring the lines between work and personal life. As the theologian David Wells puts it, we are, in fact, living with a parallel virtual universe, a universe that can take all of the time that we have. The unpredictability of technological progress raises important questions. What are these devices actually doing to us? How are they shaping our behaviors and desires? Oliver Donovan, a Christian ethicist, warns that media don't lie around passively waiting for us to come along and find them useful. They actively shape what we want to do. And I don't know about you, but how many times have you gone on your phone for one reason or another, and then the next thing you know, you get caught up in the feed and you see someone eating some chilaquiles. I know that's a big one for me. Someone's eating some chilaquiles, and now I want some chilaquiles. And so then you forget why you were even on there in the first place. And so I think that's what he's trying to say is like they actively shape what we want to do. Like so much so that we're not even in tune with the things that we actually want anymore because we're so consumed with what's on our phones that it's shaping us and what others are doing and for what we want to do too. So as we navigate this digital age, we face a unique challenge as a generation and as humanity. And it's discerning what these new technologies are truly good for and what they're not. The choices we make today will have far reaching consequences for future generations. And I just hope you all know like that is the purpose and reason why I'm creating this mini course for those who are willing to challenge themselves and ask these bigger questions. Because as you know, I have the heart of an educator and I have refused to go into the educational system because of our devices. I just didn't have, honestly, probably the energy to even have to deal not only with the students in the classroom, but also with y'all as parents and community members and guides, where you're probably also just as distracted and changed as the students that I'll be having in my classroom. And so just know that our smartphones can be both a blessing and a curse. And as like he said in this first paragraph, they are our untiring personal assistants, but also our digital vampires. And so as we move forward, we must strive to harness their benefits while also being mindful of their pitfalls. So the author, Tony Reinke, he was an early adopter and self-professed iPhone addict. He spent years researching the impact of digital technology on our lives, and especially as Christians. I already told you this is a Christian book. So this journey has been deeply personal and self-critical for him, and it's just led him to some fascinating insights that he wants to share with us. And so first, he just wants to acknowledge that our smartphones are an extension of ourselves. Just like a fork is an extension of our hands, and just like how a car is an extension of our arms and legs. And if you could think of the Flintstones, that's exactly what the footmobile was, right? And so they project our relationships, our longings, and even our deepest desires. And so, just like the mirror of our eyes in Harry Potter, our phone screens have often revealed what our hearts truly want, sometimes in ways we're not entirely comfortable with. But this isn't just about condemning technology. Our aim is to find balance and to use our smartphones in ways that help us flourish. We'll explore both the benefits and pitfalls of smartphone usage, also avoiding the extremes of technophilia and technophobia. So, throughout this particular chapter and throughout, the contents of this book, we'll discuss how smartphones are changing our cognitive functions, the impact of our relationships, both virtual and face to face, the unprecedented opportunities for doing work online, the challenges of maintaining authenticity in a digital communication world, and lastly, the strategies for developing healthy smartphone habits. So just remember that the goal is not to make you hate your phone or throw it out and just go cold turkey, or to even hate yourself for the addictions that we have with it. Instead, we just want to equip ourselves to enjoy the freedom and joy of living with this beautiful thing that's been created, but also using it wisely. So whether you're watching this on your smartphone or not, let's just dive in and explore how we can navigate the digital age with wisdom, balance, and focus on what truly matters. So, if you've already gone to this video, I'm going to just guess that you're wanting to challenge this head on and that you're willing to have an honest conversation with yourself. So, for those of you that are still here, these next questions are going to be a little bit deeper than the first two videos. And so, again, get out your journal that's specifically for this mini course, and get ready to answer these next few questions, along with getting to watch a video and a documentary after this. So, the reflection questions and challenges for this video is list all the things that you use your smartphone for. Like, I know for me, a big one is my notes app, my Google Calendar. And we were thinking about it the other day, and also just like music in general. We were thinking about like, how can you get Spotify on an iPod again? That would eliminate so much of my usage and just getting sucked into that. And of course, my camera. So I know those are like big ones for me that I use it for. So what about you? What are all the things that you use your smartphone for? And then what are some things that you still do separately? Like I know for me, like I have to journal separately. I can't like journal on my phone. For me, it doesn't stick. I feel like you have to have pen to paper. It just settles in more. And again, like I just feel like it slows me down. So that's something that I still do separately. Um, and kind of thinking of it now, I'm like, I wonder if there's other things I do separately. Oh, I don't read, like I don't read books on my phone. I still like to, this is what we're doing. We are reading a paperback book. Yeah. And so other things. So what are some things that you do that are separate from your phone still, that you have kept them to separate? And then, a bigger question is, and you don't have to go too deep or not, but just know, like, ask yourself, how have you noticed your phone has changed you? And this one is more particularly for folks who remember distinctly a time before the smartphone and after the smartphone. I've observed that that's in this generation, that's kind of the hard line in the sand, depending on how old folks are. They'll be like saying silly things about whether people were alive during certain technological advances. So this one's for the older folks. How, and those who have integrated smartphones into their lives, how do you notice that the phone has changed you before you had one and after you had one? And if you're a little bit younger, and you're like, I've always known to have this thing, then maybe, I'm sure you didn't have it the moment you were born, but reflect on it when maybe you were younger in elementary school, and thought about the things that you did prior to having a phone. So whatever works best for you. And so I think a bigger question after that now is, how has tech served your goals? Like, if this is a tool, if this is a mule, right, as it said in the beginning of the chapter, it's like, how has this technology actually served us in the things that we want to accomplish in this life? And I think a bigger question on that is, what are your goals in the first place? We talked about earlier in the video how sometimes you go on there and you don't even know what you want anymore because you're looking at what everyone else is doing and eating and venturing off to. And then you're like, are those things that I want? Is that, something that I'm actually working towards and wanting to use technology to move forward in that way? And so I know a big example for me was like, especially around like 2018, and people were starting to travel all over the world, which was great. The pandemic hadn't hit yet, but travel has just become more accessible for people. And I had to ask myself, while everyone's posting pictures in Machu Picchu or wherever they were at, I had to ask myself, like, is that something that I actually want? Or is that just something that I want because I see all of my friends traveling? And, I did a little bit of traveling since then. And I was just like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. But no one really talks about, the hard parts about being in different places and spaces and having to navigate that. And so that's just an example for myself. And so I think, so for me, I was like, traveling wasn't a goal for me at that time. I was just like, everyone else is doing it, but that's not something that I desire in this season in my life. So the biggest question for you is like, what are your goals in the first place? And how are you using the smartphone to help you achieve those goals? And so, again, the whole point of this is for us to just explore why we would even consider taking such actions of separating more things from our phones, such actions of having harder conversations with our family, such actions of wanting to continue through this course and have a bigger conversation with ourselves and others, right? So, for those of you who are, what's the word? For those of you who'd like to take it one step deeper, these are already a lot of questions. Like I said, I feel like this is going to be the defining video to be like, you're going to keep going through this mini course because you're going to start revealing some stuff about yourself throughout these questions. Or this is probably where you're going to check out because it's a little too much, because it is. And that's okay. But if this is the last video that you're on, or this is going to be the third video that you're on, I encourage you to ask this question. What is it that your heart really wants? And so if you get the chance to read the book on your own, that's really the big question. I know for me, the reason why I'm on my phone is because I'm seeking connection, right? That's the only reason why I'm on social media. And that's not the only reason why, but that's what I notice. Like every time I pick up my phone, like every minute and a half, whatever it is now. It's not 4 minutes anymore. Let's be real. Like it's in hopes that someone has reached out, or I have reached out to someone in hopes that there was a response. And whether that's on social media or through text messages or phone calls, like I think for me, that's I think for a lot of us, what we really want is connection, And so just to be fully transparent with all of you, that's what you're going to see through this work, through this project, is that yes, it is going to be having a bigger conversation about how our phones are affecting us. But for me, it's bringing us back to each other. And bringing us back to connecting with each other, connecting with ourselves, and connecting with a higher power. And so if that's something that resonates with you, then I urge you and encourage you to ask that question of yourself. What is it that you really want, and why we're on our phones? And also encourage you to keep going with this mini course. And so with that said, just remember that all of this is challenged by choice. You get what you put into it. You can keep all of these answers really vague, or you can actually take the time to slow down, to think, to reflect, to get out that journal, that pen and paper that we talked about. As much as possible, get in a quiet place and really ask yourself these questions that we probably haven't asked ourselves. And unfortunately, other people aren't asking from us either. So, these questions may come up with friends and family and community and folks that you're, doing life with. And so just know that we can only meet people as deep as we've met ourselves. So if you're going to go shallow on these questions and just answer shallowly, then that's probably the gist of what the conversations you'll have with other people, and just accept our addictions and our habits. And that's totally okay, but then there's going to be a few of you that are actually going to take this seriously, and are going to do the work and are actually going to reflect, and get in a quiet place and have an honest conversation with yourself. And just know that whatever honest conversation that you have with yourself and whatever comes up for you, and you wanting to continue to go through this mini course, just know that you're swimming upstream. you know um just look up, look around. Anytime you're in public transit, just waiting in line, getting your coffee, whether you're at the grocery store, whatever the case may be, like, you doing this work right now is swimming upstream. And so however deep you meet yourself, that's where you'll be able to meet other people, whoever you so happen to connect with in your daily life. So, the last thing I want you all to do, I know this is a big video, but because we mentioned it in the beginning of the video, the last thing I want you to do to just really solidify and hone in as to why you're even taking this mini course in the first place, I encourage you to watch The Social Dilemma. It came out in 2020. It was the talk of the town of the whole world at the time. And the main part of it was just is talking about how these phones are designed to keep us addicted. And so because of that, I just want you to know like they are not on our side. They don't want us to talk to each other. They don't want us to be connected. They don't want us to be in communities. So that's literally the whole reason why I'm creating this course, because I'm like, okay, we got to come back to each other. And also because, again, I'm not perfect, but I have broken my own addictions with my phone as someone who has had it my whole life. So, well, a good part of my life, at least the first half. So anyways, with that said, I really appreciate you for watching this video. And yeah, just again, remember to take a moment to pause, reflect, and really answer these questions before clicking on to the next video. For updates regarding this course, make sure to join my newsletter at connectwithkshort.com/newsletter. For exclusive content, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, and at k.short, and on LinkedIn you can just search my name, Kathleen Short. And again, if this is something that's resonating with you, I highly encourage you to just share this mini course with loved ones and people that you care about whose presence is a present in your life, so that we can share again our time together, a short time together here on earth. All right, y'all, I'll talk to you soon. Be well.